Sorry, guys. It's a long day with no coffee. Today is day 6 of the HackerOne's virtual live hacking event. I have 4 very special guests on with me as a panel, and we are going to be talking about what we do at HackerOne. Before we get started, I want to point out that a lot of the things that I work on would be impossible if it wasn't for the support of the community team at HackerOne, and especially the 4 folks that I have on today. So I'm going to switch my screen, bring them on, let them introduce themselves, and we're going to talk about what live hacking events are, how do they get started, and what role everybody plays when it comes down to these events. Senior Tucker, we'll start with you, being the senior director of community, and we'll kick it off with you. You were already on the stream before, but for those who are new to the stream and don't know who you are, go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us who you are and what do you do at the HackerOne community.
Yeah, thank you. Well, glad to be here again. I think this is outside of one cameo, be my second official for Stream Week. Here with all the HackerOne community and many others. We were just talking before. Appreciate your stamina, buddy. You're doing great. Can't believe you haven't had coffee. I am fully caffeinated, and my role at HackerOne is Senior Director of Community. So I get to hang out with hackers all day. I get to work with these fine people, and we're all about providing the world of hackers the #1 place for education, support, and financial opportunity. So we'll talk a little bit about that today, and live hacking events being a special component of something we get to do. So I'll hand it over to you, Ben, or do you want me to say?
You can call
next
the
on
next
up.
is.
I get to call the next person. All right, next up on my screen is Jessica Sexton. So you're up.
Hey everyone. So as Luke said, I'm Jessica Sexton. I am the live hacking events manager on our community team. So I work on a lot of community initiatives, but live hacking events are my premier role. So everything from strategy to customer management, and then also working with hackers on a day-to-day basis. Next up is going to be my partner in crime, Jen.
Hey everyone, Jen here. I'm a field marketing coordinator for the community team. I help with all of our recruitment and engagement efforts. I also do all the behind the scenes for live hacking events. So if you've attended a live hacking event or if you've seen any pictures of me, I'm usually corralling everybody, telling everyone to go to the next spot, making sure that everything's running smoothly. You'll also probably see me at a booth when we have our physical events back up and running. I help manage all of our community events. So hopefully next event, you guys will be able to see me in person.
And keeping the best for last, Ariel.
Thank you very much. As Ben said, Ariel here from Argentina. I'm a community manager for Latin America. I have been helping a lot of different things from the community side, helping Jen in some events we were sponsoring, some conferences, helping in some live hacking events, and also leading the pen test product we are launching soon. Exciting news for a lot of people. So we'll provide more news about that. That's basically what I do.
Does everyone remember the first live hacking event? Do you remember which one it was that you went to first? Let's start off with you, Ariel.
Well, my first one was live hacking event in Las Vegas, but actually I wasn't hacking. I was invited by a friend. He was just hacking there, and he said, "Hey, they are letting us bring some friends over. Do you want to come?" Yeah, I don't even know what this is. Bug bounty, it's something new. I don't know. Okay, yeah, I will join. I was there, Las Vegas. I was mind blown. I was drinking, seeing all these hackers, like rock stars hacking there. I couldn't believe it. It was kind of mind blowing and completely life changing for me, because that, was the day I realized I wanted to be a part of the community. I wanted to be part of Bug Bounty, and I definitely wanted to be in a live hacking event as a hacker. So that was a life changing experience.
Which one was it? Was it not this Las Vegas, the one before it?
No. It was 2017, actually.
Wow. While ago. Okay. When was your first one as an employee, as a staff? Do you remember which one?
So as an employee, the first one actually working was, I think it was Las Vegas, actually, last year.
Very cool.
Like working, and it was cool. And actually, you have some.
Technically, you kind of worked the Buenos Aires.
I was gonna say, I remember seeing you at Buenos Aires.
You did the job before you got hired for the job.
I was, but actually I was hacking as well, so I consider that as a hacking experience. You can see there the poster, that's also a cool story. That's the only one sign that a hacker has, right, Luke?
Yeah, so at the live events, and we do posters, and we always have one signed by all the hackers for the customer and one signed for us that we put up in HackerOne offices around the globe. And the only event that we have had a third poster signed, there might have been one other one, but basically that we've recognized someone for their community contribution was yourself at H15411, Buenos Aires.
In Buenos Aires. So that was actually hacking there, and that's funny story. That was my first paid bug. We actually got 2 critical bugs with a friend. We split bounties, and that was another life-changing experience. So live hacking events are so important for me.
Very cool. What about you, Luke? What was your first event you went to?
Very first event. Yeah, we're winding the clock to 2017, H1415, the second live event HackerOne ever did. So I literally got hired on Halloween of 2016. So I just missed the first official 702 2016.
Wow, I thought you went to the first one this whole time. I thought you were one of the only people that went to the 702.
No, that's so yeah, second one ever, which was the first San Francisco one, where I believe was it Nafi won that one, or
no,
was that vLHE and Brun? Our buddy Matthias.
Matthias is the one that won.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a very fun one. We'll come back to that in a little bit. Jess, what about you?
The first live hacking event I ever attended, I was actually a guest. So I was in town in Vegas, my previous company for Black Hat and DEF CON, and I came as a +1 to just hang out, not hack. So it was a really cool experience. And then I have come to like a couple ancillary events. So I think I came to the RSA party last year, but my first actual event I was working was London, which is also one of my favorite events. I think I actually started maybe 3 weeks before we got there. It was very soon before the first event, but that was very cool.
The funny thing about that event in London is that I've never been to any of the London events we've ever done. I've been to all the events, just London is the one that I've not attended ever. We'll come back to that too. Jen, what about you?
Yeah, my first live hacking event, kind of a funny story also. When I was first hired on at HackerOne, I was on the field marketing team under Danielle Howard. And I think 2 weeks into my role on the corporate sales marketing, I was put into a position of, hey, we have a live hacking event in Buenos Aires. Do you want to come help and figure it out, run the show? And I was like, great, sounds awesome. So I think we had about a 3-week lead time on that one. So Ariel was my angel. He helps with everything to make sure everything was running smoothly and calling all these places. And so Buenos Aires was my first one. Very memorable for me. Buenos
Aires was a very memorable event for a lot of us, I think.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of work that goes behind these events, and it's on the topic of talking about Buenos Aires. A lot of things went wrong, and we fixed them very quickly. So one of the things that did happen, I don't know who it was, and I think Tim, our former VP or senior VP of marketing, myself and John on our TPM team, where he was a TPM, we all got stuck in an elevator that got struck by lightning while we were on our way down to catch a cab to go buy brand new routers because our internet went down by another lightning that happened early on, a few minutes before the second lightning that put us in the elevator. And it was pouring rain, and we pulled it off. We were kind of on schedule. We were a little bit late. But it shows how much work goes behind this event for it to happen. And, it takes a team. It takes a village to put these events together at this point because of how much work it takes. But, talking about the work that it goes, what does everybody do? I know, like you said, Jesse said logistics. What does that mean? What exactly mean to do logistics for hackers in these events? If you want to kind of give us a little bit of a high level of, how you work with hackers when it comes down to these live hacking events.
Yeah, totally. So again, I kind of run more behind the scenes for the first 3 to 6 months before the event. But once I'm actually on site is when you'll see me kind of running around and putting things in place. But the pre-planning, all of it is contract negotiations with vendors. It's finding the right venue. So if you've ever been to a live hacking event and you've walked into a space and you see how amazing all the decor is, and putting all of those aspects together. Of course, I don't do it by myself. We have a team that helps out. We have a production company. We have a design team to make sure that everything's on brand and everything looks as amazing as it is. So a lot of the pre-planning is calls and working with different stakeholders and making sure that everything's approved beforehand. And then on site, logistically, making sure that everyone is happy. I always say, if I'm sitting down, I'm not running around looking like a chicken with my head cut off, that means the event's running smoothly, because there's no one raising their hand saying, hey, the Wi-Fi's down, hey, there's no more snacks, or I need a drink, or things like that. So
what is your secret with the hotels? Because you've picked like the most like gorgeous, best location, like top of the line. Besides fitting in your budget, I get the budget part, but like Buenos Aires, mind blown. Singapore, I was just like, where did you find this hotel? And I booked my own hotel for the extra days I was there, and I like not good at all. I was not happy with my hotel that I booked, and I kind of wish I would have stayed at yours. How do you pick these hotels? Because they're really, really cool. They're best locations, best views, like best services. How do you pick
totally. So actually, for anyone who doesn't know, my background, I came from hotels. I used to plan and run events at hotels. And so that's kind of my special cherry on top whenever I'm looking at these events. Is a huge part of when you're traveling. You don't want to have to go on a 30-minute commute to get to your hotel room, and by the time you're so drained, and especially hacking all day, you want to be close to where activities are. You want to be able to walk out of your hotel room and grab a coffee in the morning before you start your day. So finding a really good location is really important. I know a lot of the hackers, especially when you have downtime, or if you come before or after, being able to get with your hackers and find a place to hack together. And then also just making sure that the hotel itself is, if you don't want to leave, and if it's a new city and you've never been, you do want to sit in your hotel room and hack, making sure that that hotel has enough of the amenities so that you're not having to find a coffee shop, or you're not having to find, sensitive subject, but better Wi-Fi. Seems like all over the globe there's Wi-Fi issues. But yeah, I think location and being able to find the right amenities within is always really important. So a lot of research goes into where we're staying at live hacking events.
Hey Ben, ask Jen what a amenity drop is.
What is an amenity drop?
Oh, an amenity drop. Yeah. So I think it was, when did we do this, Luke? Montreal? No. H145 2019, I think, is when we started it. Okay. But an amenity drop is when you can ask the bellman at a hotel to drop off a little gift baggie, or a little something gift basket that you've put together, and you can drop it in the person's room before they check in. So the idea is you go to the front desk, you check in, you go to your hotel room, and there's just this nice little package, an amenity that you can get from either HackerOne or the hotel. We've been trying to do
it sounds super amazing. When we did it, it was literally Cody Brocious hacking into the rooms and just dropping it. No, I'm kidding. Not actually, but he probably could have if he wanted to.
He totally could have.
He probably has it.
But hackers are like, "Whoa, what happened? Who's in my room?" It's like, come on, hotels. It's Jen doing her thing.
Jen, you deal with all the logistics, and then it gets handed off to Jess to some extent. Jess, what do you do with it while everything is prepared before the event? How does it work with your role?
Yeah, so I kind of jump into the events a little bit before Jen does. So I handle all like the customer side stuff. So the initial conversations from the first time a customer raises their hand and says that they're interested in an event, I kind of vet the process with them, talk to them about the structure. Once we get to the point where contracts are signed, then I do the customer management from that point forward as well. So everything from the initial sale through delivery. So working with them to make sure the scope's aligned, make sure that all the budget requirements are there, making sure that the bounty table and the bonuses are all, the incentives are there, and then the hacker management side as well. So everything from invitations to making sure supporting Jen and all logistics things. She is definitely the queen, but there to help as she needs it. And then everything all the way up through post-event. So all post-event metrics and
Very cool. Luke, I know you're always helping us with everything in the background, but a lot of your um, activity gets, is a spike in activity during the day of the event. How does that look for you? What do you do during the event days? Besides you being an awesome MC and hyping up the crowd.
Yeah. A lot of times, so the wonderful thing, I'm there to spend as much time with the hackers as I can. So we have things called concierge and just kind of walk around. Obviously, we blessed to have a lot of different guests that come to these events. So from a customer side, from our team members, we're a fully distributed team, and this is even more poignant now because coronavirus and we're all cloistered away in our little chateaus. But just seeing your coworkers that you don't always get to see, spending time investing in people, it's can't describe it any other way. My like on-site day includes kind of just watching things, preparing that closing deck when it gets to the afternoon, which is always a fun activity for me to kind of just put a little cherry on top of the experience and talk about how we're going to recognize some amazing work from the hackers and celebrate with our customers, with my colleagues, and with our guests as well. So yeah, just kind of being able to have a good time, just make sure everybody's doing well and walking around, chatting with people. There's like lulls in a day of a live hacking. It's a lot of excitement up front, and then lunchtimes comes and you kind of get some energy, and then you got about 2.5 hour stretch, usually 3 hours, where it's just like, I need to take a nap. I'm tired, been traveling, you might have jet lag or something. So you caffeinate, bar opens, you're off and running, and then closing ceremonies and after party. It just kind of gets rolling.
Very cool. What about you, Ariel? You are a Swiss knife of some sort. I know you do a lot, but high level, what do you enjoy at least doing at these events, and what's your favorite? What are the activities that you partake during the events?
To be honest, I enjoy everything from the live hacking events, and that's the reason why I'm up for anything. I'm pushing boxes, moving chairs, or like rolling posters, putting those on a tube, whatever. Anything to help and be part of it.
I think you're being a little too humble, though. You help with a lot more than that. You help with all the community days. You help with a lot of the hacker problems, if there is anything. If not, by a problem, I mean they need something, they need help, Wi-Fi issue, something, they need to talk to customer. You talk with customer, you work with triage. You have a technical background, so I appreciate being humble, but I know you do a lot more than pushing boxes and rolling rolling papers, as you put it.
That's true, but I'm a huge. I feel like I'm blessed to be part of this, and so that's the reason I there's a lot of things that nobody sees that we do for the live hacking event to be a success, which includes moving boxes, helping putting cables, whatever is needed to actually be a success. And a great example is that you were saying that in Buenos Aires you got stuck on an elevator, or like you went out running to buy some routers and do a wireless connection. And I was a hacker in that live hacking event, and I never realized that everything, like all those problems, were actually happening. And that's the magic behind the live hacking event, and all the amazing people that work here, that we are all making a lot of efforts to actually avoid that from being seen. Like that's the backstage. But you are correct. I enjoy a lot as well to be part of the community days, where we teach some newer hackers, or like people learning how to hack, and sometimes goes from configuring burp or actually setting up the computer to actually exploiting some bugs, or some getting some flags on the CTF. So that's amazing, and I do that as well. I enjoy it a lot.
Yeah, one of the questions that came in through the chat was, does anybody have a favorite example of a hacker-customer relationship that you have seen get formed at these events? It's a pretty hard question to answer. I'm trying to think of if I know anybody. I have an example of the Verizon Media case. Nafi, besides everything that he's a top hacker on Verizon Media, he actually built a very good relationship with Chris Nims over at Verizon Media. He's a CISO for those of you watching. Chris Nims, the CISO at Verizon Media. He has a really good relationship with Chris Nims because they got to talk about hacking. When they used to be hackers before bug bounties, and how they met through the bug bounty program and the live hacking event. So I think that's one of my favorite ones. I want to see if you guys know of any outside of. I thought Jess, of a hacker who brought another hacker on Maybe we can talk about that. It's kind of a hacker-customer relationship, but maybe a little bit different than the event. It's not really directly about customers at the event, but that story we talked about also in one of the HackerOne videos. I think you tell it best than anybody else.
Yeah, that was a cool story. So one of our hackers actually also runs a bug bounty program, and their top hacker on their program, they brought as a +1 to Vegas, and they partnered up and split everything 50-50. And I think both of them came out of Vegas like seriously top spots, and it was very cool at 702 last year. And then that hacker's been a +1, I think, once before, and then has performed really, really well at live events. So got full invites for the last one. Very cool to watch that progress. But I think that that's part of the magic of live events too, is the connection and the community that happens from both the customer to hacker relationship as well as hacker to hacker.
And to be very clear, the two hackers you just mentioned had never met before. It was just through the platform that I've just talked. And then now this hacker comes to other events as their +1. This is in a video I think we just recently released. So if you want to watch it, go to the HackerOne YouTube channel. It's one of the recap videos for our event to get to hear it from them and how they got to meet, which is also a very cool story if you think about it. It's a life-changing story. Taking having faith and giving somebody a chance to come to an event when you've never met him across the world, another country, and another continent entirely, and bringing them to an event and then them performing very, very well. It's crazy.
And that's part of the reason that we open up +1s for events, right? I mean, there's so many hackers out there that are amazing, and everyone works with great people and gets to know great people and hacks along with others that may not, be invited to a live event. And so you get to bring them along and let them experience it and, get them integrated into the other aspects of HackerOne.
What are some other +1s that we have discovered this way? Maybe Luke, Jen, Ariel, do you guys know any other +1s where, it wasn't someone that we originally invited, they came in through somebody else that performed really, really well? I think maybe Fisher? Or Fisher came through a CTF maybe? I think CTFs and the +1s are a very good place where we've gotten a lot of hackers. I'm trying to think of other people that may have been invited.
A lot of CTFers.
A lot of CTFers. We've got a lot of +1s though.
Yeah,
I'm trying to think.
Yeah, I mean, at any event, we have anywhere between 5 to 10 +1s. So assuming we have some new folks that are coming to each one, that's a whole 5 to 10 brand new people at each event.
I know another one.
I believe Fisher is actually in the house on the chat.
He is in there.
A +1. He was his +1.
Oh yeah, awesome.
For OXACB.
Mr. Cosmic.
And then subsequent events, he earned it through his CTF for the Vegas one, as you mentioned. Wertha is a buddy with Irby. Irby Sam came through, I believe, a +1 or a CTF from our boy Zayat.
He came as a +1, I think, too. I think he was originally as a +1. He didn't perform that well, and then he got a CTF and then came in and crushed it and kicked my behind on an Airbnb one night. Yeah.
Well, actually, even going back to the prior conversation about relationships that have developed with customers and hackers, Jaworsk is a really cool one with Shopify. One of the that first event that I mentioned in 2017, he got to connect with the Shopify team when he was a hacker, and now he's an employee in AppSec engineering. He's able to be on the other side, even running his own event we did with them in Montreal in 2018. That's a really cool story, and there's definitely more and more like
TechnoGeek and Uber.
TechnoGeek and Uber.
He came in through the CTF.
Came through the CTF, found his first bug ever at the 702
on Uber
event on Uber.
Yep.
And the rest is history.
Fast forward a year later, he is a security engineer at Uber. Very cool.
You got it. Yeah. Then there's more stories like that for sure. Just the cool thing that happens when you just get people together. It's even the blog I wrote last summer, and Jess built on it with the recent post. Like, we are, as a platform, we talk about bringing security teams together with hackers. Like, that is so cool. The tagline we have, "Together we hit harder," stems truly from the point of allowing programs and hackers we don't force ourselves in the middle where we say, you have to use us to do triage, you have to do these things. We offer these services, but a component of getting these humans together in person and even in this virtual space, right? We've been doing this, 20 events, I think, over the last 4 years. We're going to be hitting our 5th anniversary Vegas. Hopefully we get to do it. Who knows, guys, with coronavirus, if that's going to be maybe it'll be a gap year for a lot of physical events, but we're doing this virtual thing And yeah, we're bringing people together in different ways. So it's not social distancing. This is just physical. That's my take.
I see a lot of questions coming in about, I know we've talked about this before, but a lot of people are asking, can a noob, quote unquote noob, because that word is so subjective, but can a noob come to a live hacking event? High level, how does invite work? And if somebody's new to the platform, how can they increase their chances of getting invited? Again, I know we've addressed this already on the first day we opened it up, but I know a lot of people probably didn't catch that first stream. If you want more details on that, there is a video and a blog post on HackerOne, but at a high level, we'll cover it right now. I'm a noob. How do I increase my chance of getting invited?
Yeah, so I can start it off. So every live hacking event is different. Every live hacking event has a different invitation structure, a different quantity that we're able to invite. Vegas, for example, traditionally has a lot more hackers. I think we had 116 participated in Vegas 2019, but traditionally it's about 60 hackers. And so we break it down into a certain set of buckets. So we look at hackers who have won the Most Valuable Hacker Award in the past 6 months. Some of our $1 million hackers, our top 2 of the quarterly leaderboard, always get an invitation if they meet the signal and impact requirements of 5 and 19. We do the top 5 hackers for the customer. They're not necessarily always the top in terms of bounties or any other stat base. We give 5 to the customer to select based on whatever criteria they want. So it could be a hacker that's recently just had a lot of really great platform engagement, really creative finds, but it may not necessarily be in their top 5. We do 10 local hackers, so hackers that are in the region. We go all over the world for events. We like to celebrate the diversity of that, and so bringing in local communities as much as we can. For this event specifically, our original event was going to be H165 in Singapore. So we have about 30% of the invitations for this event are hackers that are based in the region. We do 10 plus ones we reserve, and those are first come, first serve. They need to go through an approval process, but that's where what we've mentioned before, where hackers will submit another hacker they want to bring along to the event to hack. And then something new is we've put aside a separate bucket for 10 hackers who are new to live events. So you still, need to have quality, consistent, critical reports. So definitely hack more, criticality, have really professional platform engagement. As much as you can do for the community outside live events is also really great. So sharing tools, doing trainings, supporting your fellow community members as much as you can. Those are all things that we really look at. And so for the up-and-comers or noobs, quote unquote, because as you said, that's really subjective. Everyone's a noob in some fashion or another. But that's something we'd set aside for those people. And then for all the remaining events, we look at the 3 C's. So criticality, consistency, community, collaboration is also really important.
Very cool. You said something about local organizations. And local hackers. I know that for the community days we work with a local organization of some sort. How do we pick these organizations, and why is it important so important to us to work with these local organizations when it comes down to the community day?
Yeah, I can let Jen take that. We actually revamped our community day program. We used to have a mentorship program where it was a single hacker with a single individual who's new to hacking, and they kind of worked hand in hand on the event scope. But for 2020, we've restructured that holistically and have a new process that both yourself, Jen, and I kind of all revamped. And then Ariel was awesome enough to be a supporting member for that at H1415 when we launched it this year. Jen, do you want to talk about how you pick the orgs?
Yeah, totally. So for anyone who hasn't attended a live hacking event, again, the community day is a section of, it's an event within an event. We work with local organizations, whether it's schools, so students, women in security, really anyone that's trying to get into hacking, trying to get into bug bounties, gaining their skills because they're just finding this as their either newfound hobby or hoping to switch their career paths. But the way I choose the organization is one based on some of the customer customer requests for the entirety of the event. If they're focusing on a diversity and inclusion component, if they want to have an impact on students in STEM. So really depending on kind of what the customer is looking for. Also aligning with what area of the world we're in. In San Francisco, in our backyard, we have so many organizations that we have great relationships and partnerships with. In Singapore, our team there has really awesome communities that they've worked with. So really leveraging the people that we know in those great cities. In Buenos Aires, for example, Ariel has a huge community of followers that we can tap into and leverage. So really depending on the location of the event, if it makes sense to do a community event, and also if making sure that it aligns with both our goals as a community team, who do we want to continue to grow and engage with, evolve as hackers, and also based on.
Just wanted to add that in the mentor program, we also had the help of three amazing hackers, Space Raccoon, Random Deduction, and Fisher. They actually spent time during the live hacking event instead of actually hacking, and they created some presentations and they actually teach some of these people how to hack in some different techniques. So huge thanks to them. That was amazing.
And Fisher and Eugene have both been volunteers to support our community day initiatives multiple times. I think Random Deduction has as well, but more earlier last year, I think. But Space Raccoon's every event he's been to, I think, has been a volunteer in some capacity. Pretty cool.
Very cool. Let's talk about the history of live hacking events. Luke, you mentioned you have been to almost all the events. So you started off with the second event we ever did at HackerOne, H1415. How did these live hacking events get started? I know there was a very small story behind live hacking events before they were officially a thing with Franz Rosen and Sumlak. What is that story like? I know you kind of brought it up last week, and I kind of wanted to save it for today. What is the story behind live hacking events? Why do we do them? How did it come up?
Yes, so I'll even I can share the blog for sure, but I actually wrote up a little brief history of HackerOne live hacking events in a blog we did last summer. The cool story, and it'll be coming up on this, is just aging us, but 5 years to the years when Franz and Sumlak, aka Justin Kalmus, our former VP of Hacker Success, and now has moved on to amazing things, working with some great companies as a CISO. They got together, I believe it was like, at the time, Justin was CISO of Zenefits, and he was like, why don't you get 8 friends and come back I'll get a hotel room and we'll come back to this place in Vegas and just hack all night. And I got this, I want to pay you guys for critical finds that you get. And they ended up doing it. And from there, it was kind of born. I think Ted Kramer, who at HackerOne, chief of staff at the time, he kind of took it and ran with it over the next several years. And it turned into a thing. At the beginning, it was a much smaller pool of hackers. It was Vegas, and it was like the next one, like I said, was the very first one I went to, which was San Francisco, H1415. The nomenclature of the terms kind of is an homage to the DEF CON groups, where they'll, DC 208, like where I'm at in Idaho, or DC 415 in San Francisco, and so forth. It was a unique taxonomy that we could latch onto and kind of roll these events out in a very contextual way, and it would grow. So from there, the year we really started sprinting was at the end of 2017 into 2018. So it went from 2017, 212 was New York, first one we ever did. And then we hit NullCon, we hit DC for 202, we did 415, we did Amsterdam, 3120, we did London, 4420 for the first time, we did 702, we did 5411 in Buenos Aires, we did 514 in Montreal, and then we did 212 again, I believe, that same year. That was a heavy clip. Now, as we continue to evolve, and with Jessica coming on board around this time last year, actually, not even quite, it was May, I think, part of the opportunity was to really take this and turn it into what we're experiencing now, which is an expansion of opening up the opportunity for more hackers to hack at a live event. Right. We're taking this from, we talked about community days, right? How exciting it is to bring 30 to 40 students typically, or diverse groups into a room and like able to work with them to level up their skills. It's called the HackerOne training, which I think Jess and Jen would love to share a bit more about. But we now have done educational work. That stream we started last Tuesday, we had, I think, a total about 2,500 plus people participate, on average like 500-600 people. You're talking like 100x what we were able to do from just a physical space in one room. So very exciting to see where live events have come and where we're going to be able to take them. I feel like I made a joke with Franz one time at Vegas, after Vegas last year. I was like, I hope there's always this element of like, well, let's try it out. We'll figure it out. Like there should be this element of like rawness to these events. Like we put some panache and we definitely want it to be a high quality production. And hopefully all those who come to these events have experienced that. And that's something we as a team want to measure ourselves and strive for. But the numbers are insane. The amount of hackers that have come through this kind of whirlwind, Ariel even on this call, from his own personal story. Each of us have a connection. And we want to continue to push the envelope for live events. We're partnered with some amazing customers. And if it wasn't for people and groups that have a vision like Verizon Media, we wouldn't be able to do as many we've done. We've had just 14, 15 different customers now over the last several years?
15.
15. And from our forecast, now flagship events are in question for travel and everything, but we've got some incredible new targets and new customers that might be coming up. So it's, that's kind of a brief history of where they started even before HackerOne was officially involved, although it was community members just coming together to do it, from a loft in Vegas to we're going to be coming up on year 5, our 5th anniversary.
Yeah, it's crazy to think about the very first H1702 event that HackerOne did. That first event was inside of a 2-story suite at the MGM, 50 hackers, 2 bedrooms, and I want to say 2 bathrooms and closets that were used on top of the living room.
We've come a long way.
We've come a very long way.
And the last one in Vegas, Jen, was like, I don't know how many square feet, but like we had an entire building, basically.
A whole tower.
Right, and now having a rooftop deck and all that cool stuff. The growth has been crazy. Going from 3 customers and then growing it to the 15 that you guys just mentioned. But talking about having fun and going to these events, I'm curious to know what's everyone's favorite event so far. What was the number 1 event you've ever been to?
Don't go with Ariel first, because we know what he's saying.
We'll start off with Luke. We'll start off with you since you already go ahead. What was your first your favorite event? And I hope it's not this one on this screen where you were under the water hacking for a photo.
What are you showing? I've been known to do some fun things. I would love to tell that story if we had time. That was a pretty good one. They're all so different and so unique and so special. And each I share with people, like when you go on a trip, like there are so many memorable things. You thought, remember that one time in college we went? Oh, that was crazy. Like I have those in spades across a lot of these. I think 212, the very first one, was really neat. Just like being in New York during the holidays, and the target was the Air Force, U.S. Air Force for that one. And it was for Christmas. That was like just a special shout out to Zayat and BH for that one. And we just got some really cool moments captured, experience with that. And so just seeing the folks dressed in fatigues right next to these hackers and just the experience. There was like social engineering in scope, which never happened. That was like really unique. So that was a special one, but I'd probably say like one of the best business trips I've ever been on, maybe the best, was Singapore H165 last year. Such a special, for many of the people going there. I'd been to Singapore before. That was my second time, but it's typically, I'd say, an exotic location for many people. That's just like, this is crazy. The whole city is amazing. The experiences that Jen had put together for that were incredible. The target was amazing across the board, and I just got so many good memories of that one.
I think I definitely agree. I just posted a photo of our H165 event that we did. I agree too. That must have been for me at least, it was one of the most memorable events. The event
I gotta
portion.
find this video. I gotta tell this quick story, and then I'm gonna shut up and let other people talk. But one of my favorite memories is an Instagram story of Ben and our coworker Daniela on like a rickshaw, and Ben's coming back. It's like 2 a.m. or something, and he's saying leg day, and this guy's riding the.
Wait, hold on. What? I don't remember this.
You don't remember
You guys
this,
are on like a
dude?
little tricycle thing.
Yeah. That's like the rickshaw thing, and you were in the back with like 2 or 3 people. This guy's sweating, trying to make.
This guy's looking
leg
back
day.
at me and just like clapping and dancing, and I'm just super uncomfortable looking at him. Like, I don't know what you're doing, but yes. And that was a very long, very very long
Not
trip
to
for him.
mention, it was like 100% humidity.
I forgot about
like
that.
sweating
It's Singapore,
down.
right? I mean,
Yeah,
it doesn't matter what
Singapore.
time of day you walk outside. You're, yeah. So that's one of the best.
I forgot about that. Yeah, that was a very fun event. What about you, Jess? What is your favorite event so far?
I think one of my favorite events was London, but that's partly for like internal reasons because I got to meet the London office team when I was there. I got to meet most of these people. It's the first time Jen and I had actually met face to face. Luke and I had met multiple times, but Jen and I hadn't. And then my actual favorite event from a management perspective is probably Vancouver. It was really cool. It was different than any event we've ever done. There was hardware in scope, which was really cool. Customers great. We did a lot of really fun, like different activities. We took all the hackers up a mountain, saw bears, did some hiking, rode like an insane ski lift that was crazy. It was a lot of fun. So it was a really cool event.
I actually put a photo of Vancouver right now on the stream, so you can see kind of what it looked like and what the event was about when we went around. Jen, what about you?
So hard. I think Singapore was definitely one of my favorites. I think everything about it, like it was like Luke said, customers amazing. The venue itself, I don't know if you guys remember, but there was like different themed rooms. There was all this place for hacking, and obviously food was great. That breakfast buffet everyone keeps talking about. But I think 702 last year also was really amazing. I think all of those milestones that we hit, or new records that were made. I think the level of the event was just, we partnered with our production company. So I think 702 last year was really special because I kind of felt like a production. When you walked in, it was, everything was, it just blew my mind. Seeing all the behind the scenes stuff, I think that was really awesome.
What about you, Ariel? Last but not least, I think we all know what you're going to say, but...
Yeah, I will actually give you a more complex response to that. I will give you the best as a hacker, which was probably the only one, and the one as an employee. So as a hacker, of course, H1 6411 was amazing. My first experience actually hacking. I actually got some bugs. I met a lot of people getting to the bug bounty. So it was super amazing for me, mind-blowing, life-changing. As an employee, I actually have been in a couple of those, and I think as well, Vancouver was amazing. It was so crazy. The pictures we took there was awesome. Those in the mountains with the bears and the clouds. It was crazy. And also the venue was really, really nice. It was kind of this United Nations room we had. I don't know if you have a picture of that because it was amazing, but it was everything was a circle. So the stage was in the middle and everyone was looking at the middle, and it was different. So actually it was a really cool experience as well. That will be my favorite as an employee.
So when we do these events, I'm trying to pull up a photo of what I'm about to talk about. But when we do these events, they're very tiring. There's a lot of pressure. There's a lot of work that goes behind it. I'm sure a lot of us at points feel like we have no energy left. It's hard, but it feels very rewarding at the same time. How does it, what does it mean to you guys to be behind these events? Especially, we go from US to Singapore, for example, and, we're jet lagged, but we still have to put things together. We still have to set up. Some of us take naps on couches randomly. But what does it feel like to you guys to, go to these events and, what's it feeling like being behind them?
I'll kick it off. I think from the second I leave my house, I have my suitcases, the anticipation and the buildup of like getting there, what's that quote? It's like, half the fun is getting there. But like just all the planning and being able to see it unfold is really awesome. And then like the day before, I always have a hard time sleeping before big events or big things in my life. So I usually get zero sleep the night before. So the next morning I'm caffeinated, probably 2 to 3 venti coffees in already. But it's just really exciting to see everyone coming in and, kind of everyone's, whether, we've had a great night of hacking or, great couple of weeks, now that we have pre-submissions open earlier. It's just really awesome to see everyone. Well, there's twofold. One, either really tired because they've been hacking for so long, or just extremely excited to be there. And, that energy that you get when people walk into that door, I think is really awesome.
And they're like a big family reunion, right? And for me, it's every time I get to meet new hackers too, or get to know the hackers better. So you get to put faces to names and names to handles. And when everybody gets to see each other, these few times a year, it's kind of awesome. And our team's all remote too. So the live events are really when we get to see each other face to face, which is great. But running on adrenaline is definitely a big part of it. Like Jen said, Vegas especially. 3 days, it's been 5 days in the past, and it's mostly overnight. This year will be a little bit different, but you're running on steam for the full. I think maybe last year I slept 6 hours in 3 days. But it's always great, especially at the end.
Yeah, I can definitely relate to that. It's a lot of stress, but again, like it's the only time we all get to be face to face, and there's some really good memories there, and we'll talk about those in a little bit. But I want to hear from Ariel and Luke as well. How does it feel to be a part of this event? Again, these live hacking events are opening up a lot of doors for a lot of hackers. It's, helping hackers travel. We're seeing places that we would have probably not traveled to for a while at least. How does it feel to be behind the team that organizes these and has a kind of an impact on the hackers' lives?
Yeah, so I think it's amazing, and actually, as Jessica was saying, it's the time to actually I go and see my coworkers, and I met the hackers. I talk to them, even if when we go to after parties, like drinking some, having some drinks or playing some games. I remember in Vancouver playing a drinking game with Smeagol's. We have an amazing time. It was super fun. It was so hard to understand the actual game because I think he created the game or something. But after we actually
sounds about right,
the rules, yeah, actually when we got the rules, it was super fun. We had an amazing time, and yeah, I think the sleeping and resting goes on a second place. Vegas was insane. I remember like these 4 or 5 days hacking, and I wanted to go to DEF CON for time. They are so close, right? I wanted at least to go to a talk, so I was actually waking up at 8 a.m. or something, going to a talk, maybe 1.5 or 2, and then going to a live hacking event, working until 4 a.m. and repeating that for like 5 days. So crazy. I mean, crazy tired. It was so bad, but at the same time, it's every single second is worth it.
What about you, Luke?
Yeah, it's hard to put into words, and this is a 2-hour stream, right? So I'll take my time. No. All the things mentioned by the team. I think even getting together with your friends, meeting new people, developing. There's so much value. Like when we look at, I describe it to people as the live hacking is kind of a microcosm of what we're trying to accomplish platform wide in ways that. And I know it's naturally live events don't scale. They do not, which is almost like contrary to we're a startup. We want, we're getting that drumbeat to grow and scale. And we want to keep the richness of the human experience top of mind. We want to continue to expand. Naturally, we can't have an event with 600,000 people. But they should be special for this group, for this experience, this day, and then open it up as many as we can. We're not going to do a live event every 2 weeks, every month. Like this taxes people, as everybody already mentioned. Like the travel, the time investment, the hours, it's a lot. And I'll even share the other side is like as beautiful and amazing as they are. I've shared even on Twitter in the past, like I get almost a post-event depression. Like when you're done and you have this down, not spiral, but it's just like you put all this energy out and then you just ugh. And you come back to we're all remote, so you're coming back to your office, you're coming back to it's just very different. And you're you've craved, missed your family, you're back, good to be home, you miss your bed and everything, but you have to kind of work through that. So there's an element of just when you have this big thing you're fighting, you're striving for, you accomplish it, and then how do you manage that kind of downturn? Something that I think hackers have explained similar. You're tired after you spent they invest so much to perform well. They you have that feeling of responsibility and integrity and desire to be the best, that competition. So yeah, that's all the wonderful things, but there's that element too of this is real, this is life of home, and
yeah, the post events are a little bit hard. You come from this, really exciting time, and you make all these great memories, and you're back to reality the next day or two, and it's just I want to go back to that event, regardless of where it is. San Francisco or Vegas, even going all the way to Singapore. I definitely could relate to that of wanting to go back and doing more of that than being at work. But on Ariel, you mentioned something about having after parties, playing games with the hackers, and the team bonding stuff that we do with the hackers as well. We do these sightseeing things. We take hackers to go and visit the local city, whether it's in Vancouver, Singapore, San Francisco. We have an element of doing some tourist things and bonding activities. Why are those so important? Why do we do them? What's the story behind it?
Yeah, I can get this off. So we do tourist activities. I think I talk about it a little bit in the 213 recap video when that gets posted. But we take hackers from all over the world. I mean, we're bringing people in a lot of these cities that they're traveling to, they've never been to before. So getting everyone an opportunity to experience the city, not just, sitting in an event venue, hacking, eyes on a screen the whole time. But we also love to do these because they get to know each other in a personal environment, something that's less stressful. We try and do it the day after hacking ends, so that they're not, they get that recoup time. And then they also get to know the customers on a personal level too.
Yeah. What are you guys' some of your favorite ones you've done so far? I kind of want to end this on a memorable note. So if you have any fun memories, anything that's fair game you want to bring up, any sightseeing memorable moment you've had, anything that, you think of life hacking and you go, oh, this is a fun thing we've done as a group with hackers. Let's kick it off with you, Ariel, going down to Luke, Jen, and Jess.
I actually kind of spoiled myself, but I think that one of those good memories are the in Vancouver after the live hacking event, going to have drinks. It was a regular bar, like a regular place, nothing too fancy, but we have some ping pong tables and some beer pongs, and we started going crazy with this game. Like Smeagol tried to teach us, and it took a while actually learn it. Actually, Luke, I forced him to play, and he was not getting anything. And it was a drinking game, so actually he had some shots after that game. And actually, I remember I involved, Jen's boyfriend. So some other people, like random people. It wasn't even a hacker and ourselves. It was just get to play these because it's so much fun. Even if we don't understand what we're doing, we're just drinking and everything. And I think that, helped a lot in bonding. And now next time I go to a live hacking event, we have a better relationship both with the hackers and a lot of different coworkers and people that was there. So it's really special.
What about you, Luke?
Yeah, no, the Vancouver one was not at the top of the list, but I'm pretty sure Smeagol's made up the rules so that I would lose.
Sounds about right.
About that. Singapore, the gardens by the bay at night. It's freaking cool. I'd been to Singapore one other time before and wanted to go. I've been there during the day, but I'd never experienced that. So to be able to do that with that group, and then we went and had a nice after party with the continued light show from the Marina Bay Sands along the day. That was a highlight.
What about you, Jen? Or should I say Jen A?
I have two. One is the walking tour we did in Montreal. Was really awesome because rarely do you get to explore the city and be able to walk and feel and breathe all of it in. And that was really, really cool. We had someone from the customer team take us on there because they were local. And another one was London, when we did a boat tour through the River Thames. So that was really cool. A lot of the hackers, I think, really like that one as well because, we all got onto this boat. We had lunch served for us. We got to see all of the awesome sightseeing without having to walk lots of miles. So that was really nice because we all got to hang out, sit there, and see the awesome views, and that was cool.
Very cool. What about you, Jess?
I think Vancouver is probably my favorite, just because it was so different. London was awesome. Like Jen said, the boat tour was really cool because it was so relaxed. It was a great way to get to see everything, but I feel like the jet lag for London was a little bit pretty severe by the time we got to that day for me. So to do something that was a little bit more chill was great. But Vancouver was it was so different, and it was really cool, I think, for everybody. But I think one of my favorite memories, though, that's outside of the actual hacking part of Live Hacking event is in London. We were kind of walking around to take some pictures and like all the graffiti shots. And there's some really cool photos that came out of the London event. But we're walking around trying to find good spots. And all of a sudden we like enter this really weird, like a fence by a park. And it opens up into this weird, crazy community where there's like broken down VW buses, there's like food exchanges going on. And then there's like this like mini rave in the middle all of a sudden. And it's almost like it's this really strange like underground subculture. And it was really, really cool and not anything I'd ever seen before and not anything any of us were looking for. And we just stumbled on. So that was really interesting and neat to see and kind of a fun experience to have with everybody.
Very cool. Well, I want to end this on a fun clip of an event. I hope it works. I don't know if you're watching this. It was also requested by the chat, but I'm going to throw this in there and hopefully it works. No, it doesn't work. Hold on. Let's hide it. I'm going to try and fix this really quickly. So I'm going to make this a little bit bigger. I usually don't like to cut off the screen like this, but I'm going to put this on here, move some stuff around and see if it works. How do I make you work? All right, I'm just going to... All right, it's not letting me make it bigger, unfortunately. There is a video. I'll put the link to this in the chat. There's a video of the thunderstorm that we had in Vegas one day. You can kind of see the top portion of it. It wasn't a memorable moment for me per se. I mean, I was stuck in the elevator again. I don't know what it is with events and me being in elevators stuck, but this was also another event when I was yet again in an elevator. While things were hitting the fan, and it was a fun experience watching it. I really wanted to share this with everybody, but unfortunately I don't think I can. I'm trying one more time, but if you want to watch it, it's on Luke's Instagram. Go to his media tab. I'll put the link in the chat as well. It was a fun moment seeing all the craziness happen, and it's also, what's even funnier is that a lot of people didn't know this was happening because they were downstairs hacking and they couldn't see it. Actually, let me see if I can pull up on the screen really quick. I think I figured it out. I'm going to replace them with you guys really quick. I'm going to bring the volume down a little bit. This is what it looked like. H1702 in 2018 with poor AP5 for just running across trying to get away from all the craziness of the event. Very fun event. I wanted to end it on that. Appreciate you guys being here. Thank you so much. Everybody in chat, say goodbye to everybody on the stream. I'll be back again tomorrow at 9 a.m. Thank you all for watching, and we'll talk to you all soon.
Hey guys.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you very much.
See you all.